Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay, he's Maddie, and this is Yankee and the Brit, and it is Sunday. And I did realize, Maddie, one of the huge difference between the U.S. and Britain is going on right now. You guys' halftime show is like, they're like, here's 2 microphones, do your thing. That was kind of the whole setup.
Yeah, with the halftime shows, I just don't think they're a very British thing. I personally just don't think we should do them. I'm just like, just leave it. There's no point in doing a halftime show when you're British.
If you're not going to follow tradition, then we shouldn't send football.
But no one else, but like, that's not tradition. It's only a halftime show for the Super Bowl. Like, there's not just halftime shows at random games.
There's a halftime show for every game. It's just not always music.
Fuck off. Really?
Yeah, it could be
right, okay.
That chick from China or whatever who stacks all the dishes on her head while riding a fucking unicycle, or, you know, I forget her name, but she talks. Right. So there's always something, or it's like the Packers local band shit, like local high school bands.
Right, okay, cool. Never mind. I take it back.
Well, make me take football back.
We should do halftime shows. I understand that we should do halftime shows and keep up with the tradition. It's just not our fault.
Or they do like throw a football into the big Dr. Pepper jug and win $100,000.
See, like Premier League games and stuff like that, like soccer football games, we have like the little kids from the academy come on and play a small game of football and stuff like that. Like,
they do that
and we see that, but yeah, so we have that at halftime, but really everybody's gone for a pint because you can't drink and watch the game. Like in football, like you're not allowed to have alcoholic drinks.
Drink the fuck out of the UK.
No, because at rugby and every other event, the reason is we drink too much and therefore are banned from drinking at football. So everybody at halftime is offered.
Because you guys are so soft, you ban it. Like, we're like, at football games, they start drinking at 7 a.m. in the parking lot, and the game is at 7 at night, and they're still drinking at 10 when it gets over. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you drink 3% beer all day, then sure, I'm sure you can do that all day.
Yeah,
you may as well just drink like apple juice.
14%. Our alcohols, we have IPAs that everybody drinks, but let alone Four Loko that has 14% alcohol, 2 cans of Red Bull, and has a chemical that makes you forget you're drunk in it. But other than that, yes.
Anyway, it is, of course, the Yankee and the Brit halftime show. So welcome in, everybody. And we will be going on throughout the whole second half of the game. And yeah, to be honest, guys, looking at this, you're not going to be missing much if you stay with us for most of the second half. It's 10-6 to the Denver Broncos here. The New York Jets offense has currently got 2 passing yards in the game and 30 rushing yards. And what is killing the Broncos is pre-snap penalties. They're getting absolutely killed on pre-snap penalties. Jay, who's to blame for pre-snap penalties? Because Sean Payton's a great coach, but the Broncos have the most penalty yardage in this season.
It's discipline, so it falls on everybody, the coach and the players, right? Because it's discipline not to make these errors. And I mean, the fact that the Broncos want to shoot themselves in this game, and instead of being up by 20 points right now. But this just proves, like, dude, Justin Fields is such a good quarterback.
He's terrible. He's been horrific in this game. Like, he holds onto the ball so long. He holds onto the ball so long. Like, it is crazy. But looking at this game as well, Jay, I think you can watch the Jets and say, Garrett Wilson's only been targeted once so far in this game, and he dropped the pass, and the ball was behind him. Not a good throw from Justin Fields, but he's only been targeted once in this game. I think the Jets are really lacking some creativity on the offensive side of the ball to get the ball to their best player. And as well as that 2-minute drill just showed the serious lack of ambition in this Jets team. Like, zero trust in Justin Fields, which through watching most of the game is fair enough. But where they were taking timeouts, the fact that there was 20 seconds left and they didn't call a timeout when it was 4th and 1, there was just a serious lack of ambition, and it breeds negativity throughout the whole organization. Is that a point against Aaron Glenn and this coaching staff as well as against Justin Fields?
I don't know, because you think about how bad the Jets are, and then at the end of the half, do you want to, and you're still in this game, so do you want to compile it by a bad play at the end of the half, putting the Denver Broncos up 17, right? Like, so maybe they were just like, let's get to fucking halftime. Let's regroup. Let's come back out and not make this worse by trying to force something.
Yeah, I think that attitude, when you have 2 minutes, 3 timeouts,
but when your team's
and you're making. Yeah, but that drive was the most yards that they've made in the game so far.
But if you give up a pick six or something, the game's over at half now.
Yeah, I suppose. I just think if you're thinking that way, then it just immediately breeds into the idea that your team is terrible. And you could see Garrett Wilson going off the field.
But
you could see Garrett Wilson going off the field at halftime. And
I think that's a crazy take, basically. Only because that's almost what every defensive head coach does. I mean, Belichick used to run the clock out and get booed all the time.
Yeah, I also feel like that's why you shouldn't hire defensive head coaches. Like that sense of negativity, I think, is just gonna permeate through the Jets.
That's the difference, because I'm sitting here thinking the exact opposite of our team is horrible, but we're still in it. Why would I risk giving the game away right here before the half when I can go in, talk to my team, regroup, and still have a chance at this thing? So it's kind of it's just crazy how, like, it can be looked, the same situation can be looked at so completely differtly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, like, wanting to go in and I just don't understand how you G up a team at halftime after what you just did in the 2-minute drill. You're basically saying how you G up a team, how you like get them excited and stuff like that.
I don't think it's about getting excited. I think it's about just making them execute what's in front of them. Right? I don't think Aaron Glenn's going in there to rah-rah. I think he's going in there like, look, we got to stay, fundamental. We need to do this. And let's be real. They're literally one Justin Fields play with his legs away from this game being tied, right? So, because
that's true.
I can beat well, that was going to sound wild. I can say some crazy shit about Justin Fields every day, but it doesn't make the fact that his leg talent is fucking elite. And I know this sounds so stupid and people hate to hear this. Switch positions, my guy. Start out as punt returner. You're thinking, I am dead serious. Be a kick returner to start with and let them develop you into something else, and you will stick in the league.
Or I'm just waiting for someone to go 2 quarterbacks. I'm just waiting for someone to regularly play 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time and properly use it.
If you did it with somebody like Fields, who has supreme athleticism, I could see it. Like, you could, I don't know if these dudes can catch or anything, but you could do it with a Jalen Milroe. Like, I don't know. I
can't believe the Seahawks haven't done it with Jalen Milroe. Like, I can't believe they haven't given it a
And then who you guys got again that you traded for? Why the fuck?
Joe Milton.
Joe Milton's another guy. I don't know if these guys can read a hole or catch, but they are the athletic talent that you could do this with.
Yeah, 100%. Anthony Richardson at the Colts as well. Like, I'm surprised we don't have 2 quarterback sets, and Justin Fields would be an interesting guy to do it with.
What do you make Anthony Richardson, a fucking D end? That dude is so big. Like, I
feel like two-way ball. Anthony Richardson becoming a two-way ball player,
he's a
quarterback and D end.
Yeah, huge human being.
Jay, the Jets special teams have been playing well. The Jets defense has been playing well. It's really just down to the offensive side of the ball. They've just kicked off the half with another good kick return, and they're already at the halfway line. And then Justin Fields makes a run, and they have the first down as well. So another the offense really needs to step up here. But let's give them some credit. The Denver Broncos defense is very good as well. Jay, with looking at the Broncos here, I think just for them to be a real contender, obviously we've spoken about the penalties already, but are they just missing some juice on the offensive side of the ball? Because Bo Nix, I think, looks good and can dish it up and can be accurate. But every time I look, none of his wide receivers have any separation. Cortland Sutton is not a separation guy. Franklin is not a great separation guy. And Mims sometimes gets some decent separation as well. They all have good hands, though. But do you think they could just use some juice on that offensive side of the ball, some star power?
Yeah, and I think that Bo Nix reminds me a lot of Matt Schaub, but I think Bo Nix will end up being better because Bo Nix is still young and Matt Schaub was in the league. But right now he's just doing just enough not to lose games and try to win them, which we were just talking about on Thursday. I don't think is horrible. There is this guy that they could have had that seemed to get a lot of separation. His name was Jerry Jeudy. And so I don't know. He looks great with the Browns. I don't know. But yes, I think they need somebody on that team that's a wow factor for them, because if you think about it, they really just got lunch pail dudes, right? Bo Nix is just going to go in there and go to work. Cortland Sutton's just going to go in there and go to work. Did your screen just go to some weird thing? I don't know what's going on with my game, but and then J.K. Dobbins just goes it. J.K. Dobbins is just another blue-collar fucking bring-your-lunch-pail to work guy. Yeah, they need – and I think they need a little bit of that swag. They need somebody who's going to bring some swag to that team, get them – and it's more of a player, right? Don't you see players juicing up other players more than you see coaches, right? So you need that guy on the field too. So, yeah, they definitely – but, again, I don't want to beat them up too bad because we're watching Sean Payton build something pretty much from the ground up with – let's remember, this is a team that gave up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 3 players to go get Russell Wilson. So they're still overcoming that also.
Yeah, I think they're 100% in the mix for a rookie wide receiver next year. Next year, I think rookie wide receiver come in, whoever the best wide receiver is when it gets down to you, take him, get some juice on the team, a bit of star power. That's what they're really missing. But apart from that, they look like a really great and complete team, and they just need to stop the penalties. This is a good drive from the Jets, driving down to within the 20 so far. But Jay, let's cast our minds back to a wonderful Thursday night, a beautiful game to start off week 6 with the Philadelphia Eagles going down to the New York Giants. The Giants coming out on top in that game with Jackson Dart and Cam Skatterboo there. Jay, Lane Johnson comes out after the game and calls the Eagles offense predictable, airing the same grievances as A.J. Brown. Is this a symptom of some inside issues for the Philadelphia Eagles? Are we seeing them on the verge of collapse?
Okay, this is the first time I question them this year, but everybody's like, are they on the verge of collapse? Really, because last year they went 3-2 and had this same bullshit going on. So I don't know. Everybody, you guys I know why you want to declare them dead. I do. I get the DOA tag is in your hand and you want to throw it on their toe and call it a day. And your little Matty Cowboy triage center wants to toe tag them. I get it. I don't know, but they did make me question what the fuck are the Eagles doing for the first time this year. But also, is it the team of 2 years ago or is it the team of last year? I don't know yet because they collapsed at the end of the year 2 years ago. But last year we had this same shit at 3-2. What's wrong with the Eagles? I think the Eagles have a great ability to see problems and adjust, but we have to see them do it, right? And it's starting to make me question them this week. I even said to Harrison in our chat, this is the first time I'm really questioning your Eagles.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing in the game on Thursday was they looked bad. Last season, they were winning games, but the fundamentals looked good. They just didn't have the like over the top, like X plays, like why isn't the offense moving down the field? Why aren't we getting loads of sacks? Like all like those kind of things. Like why are we only just winning the games against the Broncos in the what's different this year is they play really well for one half and they play really poorly for a separate half. Last year, it was steady away. We just looked steady all the way through a game. But this year, it's one half is great and the other half is poor. So which half of football are we getting? It's just the difference on Thursday night is they couldn't get themselves back for a good half after they played badly in the second half. They had a good first quarter in the game on Thursday. So for me, I think this Eagles team, where they're looking bad, they look a lot worse than last year. But in those halves of football where they look good, they're looking far better than last year. And I think that's something that people aren't talking about. Like, it just feels like the Eagles are just winning games. But actually, they're just winning games. They're playing amazing football for one half. So if they can join that all together, whereas last year it was, and in 2022, they just never had that upside. They went 10-1. Which is obviously amazing, but they never actually had that upside in any performance, where in this season we've seen plenty of upside as well. I do worry for them in terms of the internal noise here, though.
No, you don't.
With Lane Johnson coming out now. Well, I worry for them in a non-biased way, which is what I do when I come on here. But obviously, when I go away from here, I'm laughing at it every time I see it come out. But for the Eagles, with Lane Johnson coming out, he's not the kind of guy who like goes to the media and chats all this shit. AJ Brown obviously is that guy. Calling him a diva, I think, is a stretch, but he does air his concerns, and I think that should be a worry for the Eagles with a guy like Lane Johnson coming out, and what that can do. But Jake, Jackson Dart and Cam Skatterboo look like the future in New York. Are the media being actually unfair to the New York Giants here by saying the Eagles were terrible? Could it not just be the New York Giants are actually quite good when they have this backfield?
Well, I think it's fair to say the Eagles were terrible in that game, so I don't think that's unfair. But two things can be true at the same time. You can be impressed with the Giants and still think the Eagles played like shit. I enjoyed watching Jackson Dart, and Skatterboo was one of those guys at the beginning. He was somewhere in the beginning of the third quarter. He had 3.2 yards rushing per carry, and then ended up with 5-point-something yards rushing per carry. So he was a guy who beats down the defense as the game goes on, and he runs straight into. I don't know how long he can last in the league the way he runs, but it's sure fun to watch.
Yeah, he screams Tommy Cutlets, right? Like the vibe of Cam Skatterboo feels like the same vibe as Cutlets. Like he's been immediately loved by New York. But the difference is Cam Skatterboo, I think, has real talent in this league. And it's that running the guy down. It's that like wearing a whole team down and putting the whole team on your back and just wearing them down. And when you've then got to go up against Jackson Dart as well, who does the same from a quarterback perspective, too. Jackson Dart can run you down and like really run a game down and is dangerous with his legs. Made some great plays in that game. I think this backfield that they have set up in New York is really bringing good vibes back to the Giants. And Jay, watching the game last night, that was the first time I saw MetLife Stadium kind of really bouncing for a long, long time. I think they like really believe in this team and they're really juiced by Jackson Dart and they're willing to give him time. I think that's really important in New York as well. Jay, you immediately texted me when he came out. Or I think we were still on after the show, just chatting afterwards. And you immediately messaged me just going like, they love Jackson Dart in this stadium.
Yeah, they were going nuts when he came out. They were fucking going nuts. Now, I do remember it was Dan Orlovsky before the draft who kept saying that Jackson Dart was a top 10 quarterback. Like he should be a top 10 draft pick.
I think he's just come off a 3-turnover game against the New Orleans Saints where he was the reason that they were a better team in that game. And he was the reason that they didn't win. So, yeah, and then he goes away and he sets a record as well. So he's maybe blowing hot and cold, classic, like rookie quarterback here. And maybe the Giants suit being an underdog. That defensive line is very good on paper and is starting to step up as well. So they do have that going for them too. But so with Dart, you can see the talent there. He throws a good ball. He just needs to make the right decisions. And when they get that run game going with him, it's going to be impressive. With Cam Skatterboo, Jay, coming in, should the New York Giants maybe look to cash in on Tyrone Tracy before the trade deadline? Because Tyrone Tracy was back for that game, but Cam Skatterboo was getting a lot more of the share of the carries.
I guess it depends on how much protection you want behind Jackson Dart, right? You want to make sure that he doesn't have to carry the load. If you can get something that you find to be suitable for him in a trade, then go ahead. But I don't know if you feel like the trade compensation you're going to get isn't worth that security blanket for a young quarterback to have two guys in the backfield who can really help him out. And we've seen teams, operate with two good running backs. I mean, we saw it in Tampa last year where White and Bucky were just tearing the league up, thunder and lightning there. So I guess it depends. And because they are in a rebuild. And that's the thing I wondered. Now, New York is like, oh, we're going to give them time. When you said that, the first thing that crossed my mind is, yeah, now they're going to, but this is New York. At week 10, are they still going to be like, we're giving them time if we're watching Jackson Dart play well, but the Giants are still losing? But I do think this was the only way for Dable to keep his job. And sadly, I think it'd be better for Jackson Dart if they moved on to a different head coach. But I'm excited to see what goes. And I could give a fuck about the Giants either way. Like, I don't love or hate the Giants. So I just want to see Jackson Dart. We did go from nobody wants to watch the Giants to I bet the Giants get watched more next week than they have in forever.
Everybody wants to watch the Giants.
Yes.
Yeah. I think with Tyrone Tracy, like, it's important to remember he was the hope. Like, him and Malik Neighbors were the hope last season for the New York Giants, and he's coming back off injury. I really do think that Cam Skatterboo and Tyrone Tracy hold that hammer and anvil, thunder and lightning, like, thing that, like, say, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs hold, like Tyrone Tracy in the Gibbs role, Skatterboo in the Montgomery role as well. I do think they hold that. With Brian Dable, we've said a couple of times, like, was it just that he had Josh Allen? Well, the upside comp for a guy like Jackson Dart is Josh Allen. So if Brian Dable just does the same as what he managed to do with Josh Allen, then maybe it's just he's good with only that type of quarterback. We'll see. I tend to agree with you. It's maybe best to move off, but Dart is saving his job right now.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for the NFL and Giants fans, though, to watch this kid.
Yeah, definitely, and he's an exciting player. Like, it's also good that type of player.
Do you see Jackson? Did you see Justin Fields' stats? 6 of 10, 28 yards with 64 fucking quarterback rating. All right.
Yeah, rough. It's also good that Jackson Dart and a player like Jackson Dart is in a big market like New York. Like, it's much better that Daniel Jones has gone to the Midwest and Jackson Dart is in New York. That feels like a better fit all around in terms of, like, media pressures and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not sure that Jackson Dart gives a shit what the media say about him. I'm sure him and Skatterboo, I'm sure, will be clapping back at the media, and Cam Skatterboo ripping off his jersey in post-game talks with Ryan Fitzpatrick is just another show of why they belong in New York together. Jay, let's move on to some Week 6 early window previews and our spread betting. Jay, we're going to go through every single game in the NFL for the rest of the week in this show, and we're going to tell you guys what you should be betting on the spread. These are the spreads as of about an hour ago. So, Jay, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going up against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 1.5-point favorites. The Jags defense are turnover machines with 14 turnovers. That's 10 interceptions and 4 fumble recoveries. But the Seahawks are joint second in the league in interceptions with 7 interceptions. Is this the game where it's all down to Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold looking after the ball. And who do you think is more likely to look after the ball in this game?
I think the game for me is going to be like carried on Travis Etienne's back. I think that's where we're going to see this game. I think Liam Cohen with his running game and the way he sets it up. I love what Jacksonville is doing with their offensive line right now. I do think you need your quarterbacks not to make turnovers. And both of these guys have this ability to make a turnover at the worst possible fucking time. But I have more faith in the Jaguars and their coaching and the talent on their team than I do in the Seahawks, because Sam Darnold has shown me since Sam Darnold came in the league that Sam Darnold will do Sam Darnold shit.
Yeah, and I think like these are two quarterbacks that there are quarterbacks that are much more likely to throw interceptions, but not at this level. Like Jake Brownling, for example, like Joe Flacco, like those kind of guys. And obviously I picked 2 Cincinnati Bengals there now. We'll talk about the Joe Flacco trade later on in the show. But those guys are throwing interceptions, but at a bad level. Nobody is. They're not throwing them in winning positions. Sam Darnold and Trevor Lawrence have been throwing interceptions in winning positions that can potentially cost their teams the game. The Jacksonville defense has meant that Trevor Lawrence's haven't cost him a game yet. Sam Darnold's thrown an interception that has cost his team a big game in the NFC race against Tampa last week. So I really do think this comes down to taking care of the ball. Jay, I actually think that Seattle are a better team collectively all round here. I'm going to be taking the Seahawks in this game. One of Jay's best bets for the week was the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Jay will be taking the Jaguars.
There's a fucking shock. Maddie hates the Jaguars and loves Sam Darnold. There is a shock.
I didn't say I hate the Jaguars. I just
for the last 3 years,
Seattle are a more well-rounded team.
Maybe 4. Like
I do think it's a case of like I don't think they can regularly take interceptions for 99-yard touchdowns or 3 interceptions a game. I don't think you can regularly live on that. And if you look at the rest of their team, they've been poor everywhere else. Jay, the Miami Dolphins go up against the Los Angeles Chargers. This is only a 4.5-point spread, and I think that's largely down to a lot of injuries. Joe Alt and Rashawn Taylor are missing, as well as Omarion Hampton being out for the Chargers as well. Can the Chargers still take advantage of this awful Miami run defense? The Miami defense is giving up 5.6 yards a carry, which is 871 yards they've given up on the season already, which actually, Jay, the Miami Dolphins has given up 70 more yards than the team in second, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. But the Eagles have also played 1 more game than them as well. So no one is even close to the amount of yards that Miami have given up on the ground. Can the Chargers take advantage?
I mean, I think the Chargers win this game just because Miami is fucking awful, but I don't have a lot of faith in the Chargers right now. I don't have a lot of faith in what the Chargers are doing, and it's surprising because at the beginning of the year, I had a lot more faith in the Chargers, but I'm watching the same shit that I've seen over and over and over with the Chargers, even with Harbaugh there. So I'm starting to wonder, is this Justin Herbert?
Yeah, and Quentin Johnson is out for this game as well. Important to mention, he was questionable until about half an hour ago. He seems to be out. ESPN Fantasy is predicting that, at least. So we'll see how that comes up. When do they need to tell us who's in and who's out? Who moves from questionable to out? How early before the game is that?
90 minutes, I think, before kickoff.
All right. Okay. So we should know about that, actually. But yeah, so it looks like Quentin Johnson's out as well. So I think the reason to keep faith in the Chargers is they are dealing with a lot of injuries at really important positions here. Like their 2 outstanding tackles who are both going to be coming back. And now they're stellar running back as well. But I think also important is that this is the time for Hassan Haskins and Kimani Vidal to kind of like step up and show us what they've got. They've got an interesting backfield there now with Omarion Hampton out. The Jets are fumbling on special teams there, but they recover the ball on their 1-yard line. So they're starting from their 1 yard line. My big question is, can they get that run game going, the Chargers, with those backup run backs, as well as can the Dolphins get any pressure whatsoever with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater? I think the Chargers do get that run game going, and I don't think the Miami Dolphins get any pressure here. And Jay, something else is it time for Jalen Waddle to show us he's a number one guy? Because surely this is show me or trade him. Like, you have to show me that you're good, or it's time to trade, because there's guys out there looking for wide receivers, and Miami's in a rebuild.
Yes, but I don't think he is a number one, so I don't think you're going to get that out of him. But yeah, if where he was drafted, what you're expected of you, I absolutely think it's time to step up. I just don't think it's in him to step up. And yes, a guy like him can step up for a game or two. Can you step up for the long haul? Well, Tyreek is hurt. And again, I don't know if Tyreek's ever going to be the same after that injury.
Yeah, I feel like we probably won't see Tyreek playing this level of football again. Jay, just some quick ones here before we move on in this game. Fantasy owners will be asking if they've got buys and if they've got injuries, whether to be playing Hassan Haskins or Kimani Vidal. Who are you picking out of those two Chargers run backs if you have to pick one of them? They're both predicted for over 10 points.
I'll take Haskins just because I feel like that's a more solid. I know what I'm going to get. I'll get 8 to 12 points, but I think if you're starting either of those two, you're probably wishing you had. Well, yeah, probably got buys and injuries, and people are like not happy about
their 14-team league. Yeah, like you have buys, injuries in a 14-team league, and all of that kind of stuff. But yes, if you're having to ask yourself that question, then I would look to you, but I would choose Hassan Haskins as well here. And then Jay as well. The Chargers pick up a Dafe Owe to add to their pass rush here with Mack out for a prolonged period of time. Dafe Owe comes off a 10-sack season, but he's got 14 sacks on his entire career. So last season was a real standout for him. What do you make of that trade? Because they gave up a safety and a pick swap.
You're banking on getting the same production, and that was breakout for him, right? Moving forward, that you're going to get that kind of thing. I think if you got 8 sacks from him, you would be happy, though, right? You just kind of want more guys to get pressure on the quarterback, to speed up the quarterback's count, and they definitely need help right now on that defense with everything that's going on. And this is what happens when you have like old guys on your defense, right? Like and you don't have young guys to fill in. You end up with this Khalil Mack situation, or, when they had it just a couple years ago, why am I blanking on their safety?
Joey Bosa.
Derwin James, the safety. Like when he went out, you didn't have anybody to cover, because this is what happens when you have older guys, right? And it's no shot at them, but you got to figure out, if you're going to have these older guys, who's going to step in for them. And it's hard to replace a guy like Khalil Mack, even if his athletic ability has dropped a step, like his intelligence and the way he diagnoses plays, and he's the heart of that defense. Him and Derwin James are the heart of that defense. So it is a loss. But again, I think you're lucky that you're just playing Miami at this point.
Yeah, and I think Dafe Owe is a good addition. And I think that this is a game for them to just get out, win the game, go home, get healthy. That's what the Chargers need to focus on. Getting those tackles back will be really big. Jay, the Chargers are 4.5-point favorites. Who have you got?
Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers to win this one. Obviously, Devon Achane has looked decent as well, but for the Dolphins, but I don't think they have enough to keep up, especially if the Chargers focus on their run game. Jay, the Baltimore Ravens are going up against the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams are 7-point favorites. With Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, should the Rams be looking to go back to the great Rashawn turf, especially considering Kyron Williams' fumble issues, which cost them the game last week?
Yeah, I still think you got to run the ball, and especially against this Ravens defense, just punch them in the mouth, because they've been weak up front, and you can move that offensive line. And I actually kind of think, I don't think a 7-point spread is disrespectful or anything, but because of where they're at and Cooper Rush. But I think I was kind of shocked it wasn't more than 7. with what's going on with Baltimore and the
Yeah.
way that the Rams have talent everywhere. I was shocked. I thought we were looking at like 8.5 to 10.
Yeah, crazy play in the Broncos-Jets game where a penalty's been called in the end zone for holding on the Broncos. So the Jets have just got a safety.
So does that
They're
just prove
reviewing
you
it
should
now,
have took the time and went to halftime? I think that just proves that
clearly,
right
it clearly does.
They're still going to
clearly.
lose. Don't get excited. They're still going to figure out how to lose this game.
It clearly does. But yeah, I look, I think the Rams are always going to run the ball. Sean McVay is always going to run the ball. I just think, like, you have Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. The Ravens are getting zero pass rush. Just go out, score big to start. Like, the Ravens just traded away their best pass rusher, and he couldn't even get any stuff against the Texans last week either. Like, step back, release the ball, and go for it. Cooper Rush is in for the Ravens. Derrick Henry, let's see if he can get it going this for the rest of this year, and Zay Flowers as well. But Jay, are the Baltimore Ravens looking at moving Kyle Hamilton forward? They're looking at moving his position again, especially with their acquisitions of two safeties. Like, are they basically trying to do whatever they can to fix that defense?
Yeah, but I don't see how that helps, right? Like, you're moving him around. Unless this motherfucker can play fucking quarterback at this point, maybe D end. I'm not sure what you're going to do. I mean, he's amazing, but that's like, it's the ultimate team sport, right? 11 on 11, and you think moving one guy around,
especially defense.
It's going to fix all the other problems you have on that defense. Is crazy. And I mean, maybe your best bet, and this sounds wild, is just play the guy at linebacker like Flores plays safeties at linebacker. Yeah. Well, no, that way he can still drop back, but maybe he can quarterback the whole offense or defense from right there. But they just have so many glaring holes, and they've let so many people that could have helped them over the last few years go away, and you haven't replaced them in the draft. And people are shocked on how bad, and we talked about this, how bad the Ravens defense is. It's because we've been giving them credit and letting them live off of what we've known them for their whole existence as defense.
Yeah.
But that's not it right now. And as the defense was getting worse over the last couple of years, they had an offense that could keep up, and now the offense isn't doing that either. So we're really seeing the glaring holes in the defense because the offense can't stay on the field, sustain drives, and get them points.
And their secondary was really poor last year until they moved Kyle Hamilton back into the free safety position. So trying to move him forward, like, let's see what happens. I agree with you. I think it's the ultimate team sport, especially on defense, especially in the secondary. You know, like, I personally think the Rams are going to run away with this. Are you of the same opinion?
Fucking Jets.
Yeah.
Do you know they got they have 82 yards on the whole game, and Denver has 181.
Justin Fields just held on to that ball.
Well, yeah, because
Justin Fields just held on to that ball for so long as well. Yeah, he just held on to it for so long. Jay, are you picking the Rams at 7 points in this game?
I am. I don't love huge point spreads, but again, I thought this was going to be higher to begin with, and I think this is one of those games that we could be walking away from, and people going, "Oh yeah, the Rams are good, and the Ravens are dead."
Yeah, and Jay, another huge point spread here is the Indianapolis Colts are 9.5-point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals. This went up from 7 when we did it on Thursday because the news came out that Kyler Murray is listed, and it is official that he is inactive for this game. That was just 10 minutes ago. So Kyler Murray is out for the game. Jay, if you need to change anything on
I am going into my fantasy right now. So
but so Kyler Murray is out for the game against the Indianapolis Colts. And this is a big loss for the Arizona Cardinals because as bad as the Cardinals have been and like as flaky as they've been, Kyler Murray, I think, has looked pretty good. Like, I think he's looked pretty okay. Like, he's played decently well. He's their guy that makes big plays. He's the juice to the offense. He allows their like kind of slow receiving core of Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. to get as much time as possible to get open because of how good he is with his legs and moving the pocket and those kind of things. Without him, it does look like a struggle. Jacoby Brissett is coming in for him, and that leads us to a conversation that we've had loads of times on the podcast before, where do you take the best guy or do you take the best fit for the system? And look, Jacoby Brissett, he can move around. He definitely has the ability to power run the ball, and he's elite on kind of like third down and short as well. But Jay, how big a deal do you think this is for the Arizona Cardinals missing out on Kyler Murray?
Huge. I think it's huge because Kyler Murray was their only like glimpse at times, and he still didn't look wonderful. And I don't know. I told you I'm done with the fucking Cardinals. I fucking give up on the Cardinals. Fuck the Cardinals.
Yeah. So me and Jay have been up and down on the Cardinals all year because we came in and we said they've got a great team. Are we going to see consistency? And they've been wonderfully inconsistent again. And last week's loss was a joke. I don't know how they. I do think the 9.5. I did think the 7 was maybe a bit of a overreaction to that loss to the Titans. However, without Kyler Murray, the 9.5 against the Indianapolis Colts is starting to make sense to me. Especially Jay, are these the kind of games that we have to see the Colts put away to fully believe in them?
Yeah, the Colts have to go in there and just own this game, but I'm already a believer in the Colts. I think they're a really good team. I think they're coached well, and I think it just really proves how bad Anthony Richardson has played.
Yeah, I think he just clearly wasn't right, was he? He just clearly wasn't doing what he needed to do. And Daniel Jones has also come in and looked really good as well. I do worry on this point spread whether Vegas are kind of underestimating the Cardinals' defense. And I think their run game ability is good. Obviously, James Conner's out for the season. Trey Benson's on IR. But Michael Carter and DeMarcado is still a good backfield. Like, they can still run the ball. So there is hope there.
You should be able to just load the box, though. Kyler's not there. And then you don't have to worry about separation from the receivers because they don't get any. So if Kyler's not there to move around with his legs and to get people up the spot, can they actually move the ball is my question, right? Because you're just going to load the box against the Cardinals right now.
Yeah. I feel like you just load the box up, and you can go one-on-one with Marvin Harrison Jr. because he has no separation ability. So that means you can two-man Trey McBride, and if you're a decent cornerback in the NFL, you can one-on-one. We have 40-10 to the Colts. Jay, they're 9.5-point favorites. Who have you got?
I don't love 9.5, but give me the Colts. Like I said, I think the Colts are one of the best teams in the AFC, and people just can't wrap their head around it yet because it's Danny Dimes.
Yeah, I'm a big stay away from this game if you're betting it because we never really know what's going to happen with the Cardinals. But yeah, give me the Colts at 9.5 as well. Jay, the Carolina Panthers are going up against the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are 3-point favorites in this game, with the Cowboys offense looking elite, solid draft capital, and the market having good options for fixing the defense in guys like Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Phillips, and Rick Woolen. Should the Dallas Cowboys be one of the big players in this year's trade deadline market to try and make a push?
Bro, I love you. You are like, the most disgusting garbage team in the history of the NFL, the Eagles. And now you're like the greatest offense in the history of the NFL. The greatest offense in the history of the NFL. Look at all these draft picks and all this. Yes, they should be in the market to trade, but the way you line that up is fucking wild, my man. And that's why I fucking love you.
It's just because our resident Eagles fan is now in the chat. So I'm just reminding him that the Eagles are in trouble, Hitman, and you can't even beat the New York Giants. And we can get better. You know, we'll see what Howie's fucking amazing.
I was going to say, you cannot talk shit about the best GM in the NFL.
I know. I was just about to go for it until I remembered Howie Roseman.
You just guaranteed a move. That's what you just did. You guaranteed it.
Do you know what? Do you know what I saw today? The first echoings of Trey Hendrickson to the Philadelphia Eagles, and honestly, nearly made me fucking cry. Like if Trey Hendrickson goes to the Eagles, like I'm gonna have a really hard time here. But yeah, Jay, I think I think if the Cowboys are ever gonna go into the free agency market, it's not really something we do. But now's the time. Now is the time. You've got the draft capital. There's players available. Trey Hendrickson is available. We have the cap space as well. The cap room is available. It is there to use. You can go get Trey Hendrickson. You can go get Reek Woolen, screams Dallas Cowboys cornerback as well, in the way that he's just completely unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to get, but that desperation is a defensive end, and desperation is at secondary, and it's not the top two guys at secondary. It's after that is just dire. So, big play in London. Patrick Surtain strips Garrett Wilson off the ball. Did they call
it a strip though? Because that looks incomplete as fuck to me when it happened.
Okay, they've currently called it a strip and given the ball to Denver, and now they're going into the review for it. He makes a football move with that. He catches that and turns into Surtain.
But that's a football move. You have to make 2 steps and a football move.
He makes 2 steps and then turns in and tries to move his hands as well. Like that's a strip.
I don't know. I don't think he had control of it, but that's just me. Look at his arm wave up. But
I think the arm wave up though is trying to move the ball. But anyway,
they'll give it to him because bad teams get worse calls anyway, and that's proven in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's the on-field call, right? Like,
don't worry, Hitman. It'll be sauce. You guys will have sauce by the end of the year. Maddie just doesn't want to believe me.
Big Sauce Gardner, but Jay, I do think the Dallas Cowboys should be making big moves in the trade deal market. And Jerry, like, come on, like, if they go out and they get Trey Hendrickson, like, that's a win on the Micah Parsons deal right there, because you get 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and then you pick up Trey Hendrickson with a 3rd rounder. Like, yeah,
but you're assuming the Bengals will let him go for a 3rd.
Oh. Yeah, of course. If I'm the Bengals, I 100% give him up for a 3rd, because you're terrible. You don't have the cap room.
Okay, but it's the Bengals.
They do. If there's a move that makes sense, the Bengals won't do it. Like,
and they're willing to burn down their own house to just prove a point.
Yeah,
we watched it back with Carson Palmer. We watched it throughout the years. We watched them play this game with Chase. We watched them play this game with fucking a bunch of other guys. I mean, we watched them play with their rookie fucking draft pick this year. So I don't expect the Bengals to ever make a move that makes sense, and I think that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, and Jalen Phillips is out there as well for the Dolphins if they lose today. Maybe Jalen Phillips as well. But Hitman makes an incredibly good point of the Cowboys should, but they won't, because Jerry is still running the Dallas Cowboys. So
no, he didn't even say that. He said Jerry's alive, bro. He didn't even
alive,
say that. He was like, Jerry's alive.
Well, Jerry technically doesn't run the Dallas Cowboys. Like, Jerry technically.
Sure.
Oh, they overturned. They did call it an incomplete pass. But it's 4th down anyway, because I think Fields just got sacked. Yeah, Fields just got sacked. So it's 4th down anyway. But God, he holds onto the ball so long. He has a wide open tight end. He has an absolutely wide open tight end.
He has 3 wide open players on that play. 3.
That is shocking. That is so bad. What else is so bad, Jay, is the Dallas Cowboys passing defense. It's the worst in the league. Is this the game to step up for Bryce Young and Tyrone McMillan? Tyrone McMillan does not have a touchdown yet as an NFL player, and Bryce Young looked really questionable in the past 2 weeks. So is this the game for them to step up, and do you think they'll do it?
I think we're showing what I thought was going to be the problem at the beginning of the year, and then they kind of made me back off, and I think it's showing its head as they just got young receivers. They don't have, like, true veteran receivers in there to help out Bryce Young, and I think it becomes a problem. You see it in some of the route running they're doing, or Bryce Young hasn't thrown anybody under the bus, but I have seen plays pointed out by pundits and ex-players where they're pretty sure receivers ran the wrong routes. And so I don't think they're helping Bryce Young right now, which was Bryce Young's problem at the beginning of his career. So let's not send this kid backwards. It's the reason why I wasn't positive that they were going to trade Thielen back to Minnesota, was because they didn't have that veteran presence in their locker room to help these young guys.
And important to mention that Adam Thielen was Bryce Young's favorite target last year. Like, Adam Thielen had a comeback year basically last year because Bryce Young was thrown to him all the time. So I think removing that for him and removing that comfort blanket is a big deal. I do think the Cowboys' pass defense is terrible. Like, the cornerbacks are just horrific. And the Cowboys have 10 sacks on the season. Like, they're getting decent pressure, like pretty average pressure for the NFL. They're like they're in that zone of like 15th in the league in sacks and pressures. It's just every double move a wide receiver makes, our cornerbacks seem to bite on it. And then that's it. So can Bryce Young make the most of that? Can Tyrone McMillan make the most of that? And obviously we have this comment in the chat from Hitman as well, guys, that feel free to also comment in the chat. But Rico Dowdle coming back and having a revenge game against the Dallas Cowboys, potentially. But the Cowboys' run defense is not terrible either. It's 15th, 16th, 17th in different categories as well. That doesn't mean it's great. It doesn't mean it's awful. It means it's about league average. So I think that the Cowboys' run defense has actually got better this season. It's just the pass defense is so horrific that people just don't give that run defense creeping towards average enough. Enough. And Jay, when we're talking about the spreads here, Dak is 33-18-2 against the spread versus teams under 500. Is this one of those classic Cowboys games where they just go ahead and beat a bad team?
No, I think it's going to be a close game, and that's what's got me like swaying back and forth on this pick.
Yeah, for me, I trust in the Dallas Cowboys offense to get this done. I'm happy to take the 3 points here and pick up the Cowboys. Who have you got?
I know. I feel like I need the But give me Carolina. Give me Carolina and the points.
I think if you're like, when you're like thinking that much about it and like unsure, it's always best to take the points, right? It's always best. Do you know what? I'll just take the points if we're like that. If you're like unsure on it, if they're giving you points. Jay, the New Orleans Saints are going up against the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 3.5 point favorites. Is Spencer Rattler worthy of being a starting quarterback in this league?
Probably not. Probably not, but I was cheering for him. But yeah, the Saints are so bad too. Like, so it's hard to judge on what they are, but we've watched him for the last couple of years. And yeah, I don't think he's probably the answer at quarterback. And I think Kellen Moore knows that, and he'll be looking to move on from him to their young guy. But why would you put your young quarterback in a situation to get murdered behind this offensive line and this offense that you have, where Alvin Kamara seems to be the only shining light at times?
Obviously, the New Orleans Saints are better than the Philadelphia Eagles due to the fact that they beat the Giants and the Giants beat the Eagles. So maybe Spencer Rattler should be still. I'm joking, obviously. But yeah, I think Spencer Rattler is maybe he's currently in the top 32, but he's in that position where if he's your starting quarterback, you are looking for other options. Like, you are actively looking to upgrade that position. So sorry, Spencer Rattler. Jay, another question that the Saints have here is with Kendre Miller now handling the bell cow back duties, is Alvin Kamara a must sit for fantasy football owners and a must trade for the New Orleans Saints?
No, and he's not, because Kamara's never been their bell cow back. He's never been the guy who takes 30 plays a game. That's always been the complaint that people have when they pay him. Every time he gets paid, he's never the number one back. And that's not his game. He's more of the Reggie Bush type running back who you have the smash guy in front of him, and then he gets you the the screens, the passes, the runs on third down for 12 yards. That's kind of Kamara's deal. But he is banged up. It looks like he'll play. But besides 2 games this year, he's put up good fantasy points. So in fantasy, I just keep playing him.
Yeah, and I think with Kamara, right, actually having the bell cow back does make him better. I do think he should be traded by the Saints. I do think the Saints should just I don't know how much you get for him, like not loads, but get the draft capital, get the clear as much contract money as you can, as well, like try and clear everything out. And I would personally trade him if I could, if I'm the Saints. But yeah, just really get their rebuild. Jay, a team that's kind of looking really good in their rebuild is the New England Patriots. The Stephon Diggs and Drake May duo had a coming out party against the Buffalo Bills. Are the New England Patriots built to take on the playoffs?
I don't think they're built for that yet. And I still wonder if Stephon Diggs at his age can do it every week, or is that something that he put together being that it was the Bills, right? Because as you get older, you can still do these things. You just can't do them every week like you used to. And so it makes me wonder if Stephon Diggs is hitting that age, or if we're not there yet. We'll see. But, I mean, he's a great possession receiver, too, for Drake May. He'll get you big plays down the field also. I like what Drake May's doing. It's that defense that I'm impressed with watching as they get better and better. But I think they're building something good. I don't think they're like a team, even if somehow they made the playoffs, are going to make any noise in the playoffs. And I'd actually be shocked if when it all settles at the end of the year if they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think with the Patriots, obviously, I don't know whether it's their team that puts them in the playoffs or whether the fact that they have, they've just beat the Bills, who are in their division. They've got games against the Jets and the Dolphins, who are in their division as well. Like, they have those games to play. Like, they've beat the Bills once already, so maybe it's that in-division play will suit the New England Patriots here and kind of take them to a playoff. But I agree with you. I don't think they have the juice. I don't think they have the weapons, and I don't think Stephon Diggs can string it together the entire time. But all you need is Stephon Diggs to come out in those close games, those games where the Patriots, against the Panthers, are just putting people away early with their run game, and Stephon Diggs came out in a close game against the Bills. And if he can continue to come out in the close games in the same way that Odell Beckham, when he came back from injury, showed up in the Super Bowl for the Rams, then maybe they can make a play. But yes, I think they're still firmly in the rebuild, and not to get overly excited if I'm a Patriots fan. And Jay, the final game in the early window is the Pittsburgh Steelers being 4.5-point favorites against the Cleveland Browns. Jay, why have the Cleveland Browns not got a bye week and are playing on the road after their London game?
It's a choice. The Vikings chose to do it last time too. The NFL gives you a choice if you want the bye right after your overseas game. And I don't think it's a bad idea, because having your bye week, I'm not the biggest fan that the Vikings are on their bye already.
Early bye. I mean, for the Vikings, 2 weeks.
Well, they're injured, so they need it, but I don't love the positioning. But they're really injured right now, so it probably does come at the best time. But I just don't like that you take your bye that early. Yeah,
and I think with Cleveland as well. I've seen some people talking about this, but with Cleveland, flying to London and flying back is the time zones are different, and jet lag exists, but the actual time traveling is not that huge compared to some of the away games they have to play, and their game between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. That isn't a huge amount of travel to go do your away game as well, and it's an in-division game, and the Browns come off a good performance for the Browns against the Vikings. Yes, it was a loss, but it might be nice for them to carry that good performance and the defense playing so well into the next week as well. So I don't think it should affect them too much. And also on the Browns, Jays, Kenyon Judkins making the best case for Offensive Rookie of the Year so far. He's looked electric, even though he missed the first few games of the season.
Well, I think he's playing great, but I don't think he's the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Who are you giving offensive rookie?
I think we got to travel over to Tampa for that one.
Yeah. Obviously, Emeka Egbuka is huge, but look, if the Browns get some wins and Judkins keeps on being the reason for that, then maybe he can put himself in there as well. But Keyshawn Judkins looks good. Do you think he's going to have a big effect on the game today? Do you think it's run the ball through him and then give Dylan Gabriel some passes off play action?
Yeah, that's your blueprint if you're going to win this game, is to run the ball, keep your rookie quarterback not having to do too much, and then, try to win it with defense and running the ball. We'll see if they can do that, and we'll see how the Steelers come out and play too. Steelers coming off a bye, so right? Yeah.
Yes, Steelers coming off a bye. So the Steelers are coming off a bye in this game. Their defense started to get their act together in the game before that. And Jay, with the Baltimore Ravens still favored to win the AFC North despite being 1-4 by most betting companies, I think DraftKings have just switched to the Ravens not being favorite to win in the division, but they're favored in most betting companies. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers the best bet to win the AFC North?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I think they have to be, right, with Lamar, and especially if the Ravens lose again, and I think that could actually happen. If the Ravens lose again, then how do you have them? Because they're struggling so bad. Even Lamar coming back is not going to fix all the problems they had. And I don't want to keep beating the dead horse, but like you and I said, maybe it's just time for a different voice in that building.
Yeah, and I think with the Ravens being so bad, like on the defensive side of the ball and where they're bad defensively, which is in the secondary, it's not just a case of Lamar Jackson comes back. It's not the type of game that Lamar plays either. Those big, like, I have to catch up. Like Lamar Jackson is an amazing passer of the ball, but he's an amazing passer of the ball, especially when they're already in front of the game, right? Like that's when he's really at his best. So I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are easily the most complete team in the AFC North. And I think I'm so surprised that they're favorites. And guys, if you're betting people, go to some of the betting companies where the Ravens are still favored and put a bet on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think is the way to go. And Jay, in this game, the Steelers are 4.5-point favorites. They were my best bet on Thursday night of 5.5-point favorites. So I'm going to take them at 4.5. Jay, who you got?
Yeah, I got the Steelers in this one at 4.5, minus 4.5. I think they'll figure out how to beat Cleveland. And if it wasn't for Cleveland's defense, it'd probably be a blowout.
And Cleveland's defense is amazing, but I think the Steelers' defense showed that they can step up. We've just had a comment in our group chat, which, guys, if you ever want to join our fantasy league next season, you're then invited to our group chat as well. So we can chat about it there, saying the Jets defense is sometimes something special, and the Jets defense are looking good. And do you know what else looks good, Jay? It was Izzy. Duffy's actually at the game, so I doubt.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was wondering why a motherfucking Jets fan would be messaging from the game, but.
Is he saying that the Jets defense is something special, and they are playing really well in this game. And something else that looks really good, Jay, is when people come out and support the channel. And there's some great ways that you can support the channel. You can first of all like, you can then subscribe, you can comment, and you can share, or you can scan this QR code at the top left and buy us a coffee. And here's why you should.
Me and Jay set up the Yankee and the Brit nearly 5 years ago, and in that time we've gone up to about 7 shows a week, and with the help of our loyal community we've been able to keep growing, but we want to grow even more, and that's why just giving $5 or £5 could really help us out in our Buy Me a Coffee fund. And all you have to do is hit the Buy Me a Coffee link in our YouTube descriptions. That'll be on every single video. You can give £5, $5, you can give it once, you can give it every month. And what that does is it allows us to grow and even buy ourselves a coffee every once in a while.
The guy walking away still gets me every time.
And you can support us with the link in the bio below. So please head to that link and give us any support that you can. Jay, we're also looking to support our community here by giving them some of the best bets. And we usually do that against the point spread. But what we've also started doing is our own Yankee in the Brick community parlay, where if you come in and you help us out, we'll add it into a giveaway as well. So make sure you like and subscribe for the giveaway. For if we hit is an 8-part parlay, as I believe. And if we hit on that parlay, our community wins. We all win, and we'll look to give money out. Jay, where are we looking to first on the parlay?
All right, so we'll start at the Cowboys and Carolina. Let me look through here. So, whoops, I fat thumbed that. All right, so they got Dak at 245.5 yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns, 4.5 rushing yards. I don't like Dak's stats because that's probably right about where he'll be.
What have we got on Javonte Williams rush yards?
They're predicting Rico Dowdle to have 74.5 rush yards. What did you ask? Sorry.
Javonte Williams. I feel like the Cowboys
75.5
is. Oh, that's not great. That's not great either. What about like anytime touchdown, Tyrone and McMillan?
Well, they don't think it'll hit. It's +1 at 1.12. So it's high. They don't think he's going to hit it. The better or the lower money is on him not getting a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, I feel like they're all about where they are. You feel free to take whichever one you like out of that.
I feel
like I could see both running backs.
Anytime touchdown. That's what I think.
There you go. George Pickens, anytime touchdown. I think that makes good sense. We'll take a George Pickens anytime touchdown.
So then
okay, what else? What have we got up next?
Rams and Baltimore. Oh, Matt Stafford, 250. Puka Nacua, 96.5 yards. Adams, 65. Henry, 70 yards rushing. Cooper Rush, 185 yards passing.
That may even be a little high.
Mark Andrews, 27 yards receiving.
Do you like the sound of like Devontae Adams at 67?
It's 66 would be a winner. We'll go with that.
Oh, you think under?
No, it's 66. It's 65.5. So 66 would be a winner. So we took that.
Yeah, I'm good on the over on Devontae Adams. I think that makes sense.
All right, so Colts, Arizona. 89 yards rushing for Taylor, 232 passing for Jones. They still think Marvin Harrison's going to get over 50 yards receiving, which is wild.
What about like Michael Carter running back?
27.5 yards rushing.
Surely that's got to be over on Michael Carter at running back. Surely.
All right, there we'll go with that.
Like he's their bell cow back. DeMarcado's the receiving back. Michael took like 20 more snaps than DeMarcado. Like I'll be surprised if he doesn't hit, then I'm fucked in fantasy. Let's just put it that way.
All right. Well, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, they expect Dylan Gabriel to get 190 yards passing. Rodgers 210. Metcalf 57. Quentin Junkins 78 yards rushing.
Oof.
You know what?
Probably about right.
Here we go. Boswell, 1.5 field goals. Browns defense. I say 2 field goals for Boswell.
2 field goals sounds good for Boswell.
All right. Seahawks, Jacksonville. Wow, they expect Sam Darnold to throw for 245. Travis Hunter for 46 receiving yards. ETN for 60 rushing yards. Trevor Lawrence, 234. Fuck Brian Thomas because I don't think he is going to go up and get the ball.
Not allowed to rely on Brian Thomas. The Broncos are in the red zone, by the way, everybody. Still 1 point down.
All right, well, let's
just a reminder for everybody, there was 7.5-point favorites. I think the Seahawks Jags game is too close to call on a lot of stuff.
We'll go Chargers, Dolphins. They still have Achane running for 57 yards.
Is it running for 57 yards or is it total?
Running.
I would still be happy to take the over on that, but I would much rather if it was total yards. But what else have we got?
Darren Waller with 3.5 receptions.
That sounds good, no?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the over on that. Surely Darren Waller has been with Tyreek out, Jalen Waddle. Yeah, well, Devon Achane and Waddle, right? Waller. Waddle doesn't get enough separation. So like with Tyreek Hill out and with Waddle, then it's got to be Darren Waller.
Yeah, this New England game is ugly too with these.
Potentially close game as well.
Yeah. Let's move on to Tennessee, Las Vegas. Aston Genty, anytime touchdown. Ooh, they expect him to have 74 yards. Yeah? All right. We'll go Aston Genty.
I feel like Aston Genty. So Genty has 2 touchdowns out of 5 games, which isn't great, but the Titans have given up a rushing touchdown in every single game so far this year.
All right. So then it's San Francisco versus Tampa. They got McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. McCaffrey, 55 rushing yards, 51 receiving yards, 7 receptions, 19.25 fantasy points, or 113 yards overall. Baker at 245, Mac Jones at 250.
Bo Nix has to hit that pass. He's just missed in the corner, and the Broncos are coming out for a go-ahead field goal, but Nix has to hit that pass. Nix has looked poor in this game so far.
Yeah, let's move on from that one, too. We got 2 picks left. Cincinnati, Green Bay.
Josh Jacobs
is 81.5 yards rushing, 13.5 receiving. Jordan Love.
What about sacks? Sack totals.
Parsons is 0.5.
So do we think that Micah Parsons will get a sack against the Bengals O-line with Joe Flacco back there?
Yeah, we'll take a higher. We'll go over on that because it's Joe. I can't footsteps Flacco. Yeah. All right.
The final pick.
I'm at the Lions, KC. Everything's looking about sketch right now. They only expect.
What do we have for like?
30. Huh?
What do we have for Bijan Robinson's rush total in the Bills game? Because I don't think that people realize how bad the Bills' run defense is, and we'll come to that later in the show.
80.
Fuck. Well, clearly Vegas. No. I like receptions for Bijan.
Yeah, they 5 though.
5's pretty high as well. Oh, okay.
All right, and then wow, all on the last one having all these fucking issues.
we could hit a 7-parter. We could just say 7-parter. Put in the bet. Just experiencing some tech issues here, guys. Don't we're back in a second with the Yankee and the
You
Brit.
can start going. I'll look through this, and when I find something, I'll tell them we can start going though.
Yeah, Pale, and I think I feel pretty good with a lot of those picks. So guys, if you like the sound of those picks, make sure to like and subscribe. If we hit this week, then we'll be doing a giveaway to everybody who's everybody who subscribes to the YouTube channel is eligible. And if you follow us on Instagram, then you get an extra name in the hat as well. So make sure to follow us on Instagram and make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube video to be eligible for the giveaway. We move into the late window, and Jay, in a game that I don't think many people are going to be watching, the Las Vegas Raiders are 4.5-point favorites against the Tennessee Titans, which I was semi-surprised how wide the margin is, considering both teams are 1-4 and the Titans are just coming off a win. But Jay, are the Raiders and the Titans evenly matched at all?
All right, we're taking Ibuka with an anytime touchdown.
There we go, Ibuka with an anytime touchdown, and that is our 8-part parlay.
Well, it'll be nice if that fucking thing hits.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I feel good about that one. But yeah, right. Jay, the Raiders and the Titans are both 1-4 teams. Are the Raiders and Tennessee evenly matched?
I think the Raiders are a better team. I think they got a lot more talent. I like Genti. I know what Geno Smith is, so it's not a rookie quarterback. Max Crosby. Tucker has been good for them. I like them better. I wouldn't say I love what's going on in Oakland because I think they're still short of talent, but I think they're a better team than Tennessee. And with that said, I'm taking the Raiders minus the 4.5.
Yeah, and I think when you look at this game, when you look at the stats of the Raiders I don't think are actually as bad as 1-4. Like their defensive stats on rush and pass about average in the league. They're between 14th and 20th on the different stats on the defense. The offensive stats, once you take away those first 2 games where they weren't giving Genti the ball, since they've been giving Genti the ball, the offense looks decent as well. So I don't think these guys are really that evenly matched, even though they have the same record. I'm taking the Raiders as well. So we've both got the Raiders there at 4.5-point favorites. Jay, the Buccaneers are going up against the 49ers in a game of the walking wounded, possibly. Brock Purdy is out, and Mac Jones has been listed as questionable, but will be active for this game. Can the 49ers offense give the same production even with Mac Jones injured?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all expect Mac Jones to play this game. I think he's tough as nails. And sometimes it feels like
active,
when quarterbacks get hurt, they lock in more with what they're doing. They're more focused sometimes. I think this might end up being the game of the week, back and forth, slugfest. Everybody by the time it's done, but let's not forget that half of the Bucs team is injured too, right? So we got Bucky Irvin, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin's still not completely healthy.
Chris Godwin's out, Chris
so,
Godwin's out for this game, so
so it's a tough one, but because it's so close. And I like both teams this season with the grit they have. I like the grittiness of both teams fighting through injuries. I'm taking San Francisco, though, because you're giving me the points, and I have no idea who wins, and I think it's going to be a close game. So that's why I took San Francisco, because I want those points.
I heard Kevin Wilde say something quite interesting yesterday, which was that Mac Jones was really good when he first came in to the New England Patriots, when he was on a limited role, and then he start feeling himself, start feeling himself and playing better. And then he fell off a cliff. Nothing to do with having a defensive coordinator as your offensive coordinator, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, but I was going to let you finish first. Yeah,
exactly right. So, but anyway, so he starts feeling himself, and then he didn't look great when he was playing for the 49ers, and then he became limited. And Kevin Wilde now has this theory that Mac Jones is better when he's limited, when he's an underdog, when he has to play within himself. And I'm like, okay, I can see it. I think that all quarterbacks may be a bit better when they're comfortable to play within themselves and only have to exert outside their comfort zone for the very end. I don't think only having one leg counts as playing within yourself. I think that's like just straight up not a good injury. So I think what we miss from Mac Jones is those plays that he was making last week, which look very similar to Baker Mayfield as well, when he's behind the O-line and he's making those big plays and he's extended the plays. You lose what you gain from Mac Jones in that last week. I don't think they'll get the same production, although Juwan Jennings is back, Jay, which gives him another target. But what I've seen a lot of people talking about in kind of fantasy realms this week is Kendrick Bourne. Jay, is Kendrick Bourne a viable fantasy starter for people this week?
If you need a receiver or a flex, go for it, because of how well him and Mac Jones play together. We saw it in New England. We saw it here. And Kendrick Bourne, and you see it throughout the NFL. So, like, receiver is the most dependent position in the league. If you don't have a quarterback you have chemistry with, if you don't have a good quarterback, if you don't have an offensive line, if you don't have a running game, receivers don't usually succeed unless you're Jamar Chase, unless you're fucking Tyreek, unless you're Justin Jefferson, right? These are the guys, Devontae, they figure it out with bad quarterbacks and whatever. But it's the most dependent position in the league. And Bourne and Jones have that connection. So I don't have a problem with that, because a lot of football, fantasy, betting, any of that kind of stuff is understanding those little details about the players and the teams, make it easier to bet. I wish we could have a resident, maybe 49ers or Pats fan on to talk about it, right? Because teams know, or fans know their teams better than anybody else, and what they've seen with Kendrick Bourne and Mac Jones. But the limited shit I've seen is they click together. So I'm not mad at anybody, especially if you're like me right now and you're just scratching to stay alive in your fantasy team and it's not looking good, and you got to do something. Yeah, make a move, see what happens.
Yeah, and I think a lot of stuff to do with fantasy is kind of week to week, matchup to matchup as well. And I think with other wide receivers out, and with an injury, Mac Jones will go to who he's comfortable with. He's not played with Juwan Jennings that much. I think Kendrick Bourne is perhaps viable at the flex if you need him. I wouldn't be trying to get too cute with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit a starter, but we are in bye week.
I don't want to get
too
cute.
Make a move.
Yeah. Don't get too cute with it, but I don't hate it. Joe, we've already spoke about the Dallas Cowboys being a trade deadline candidate, but 4-1 with Nick Bosa out for the season. Should San Francisco be looking ahead to the trade deadline, trying to get some trades in before that deadline as well?
Yeah, see, this is always hard, right? Because I don't know how they feel about the guys behind him. If you feel good about the guys behind him, then you just play them, and maybe you can actually move on from Bosa after this year and not have to pay him all kinds of wild money in the future. Or you bring him back at a limited pass rush role. You don't have him down on every down anymore because, they're getting older and 49ers just get injured. But I still think they have a legitimate shot this year of winning that division and making a run. It's really hard, and I don't see it as being like odds-on favorites to do it, but you're still in the mix. And if you can make a move that doesn't cost you a ton because cap is their problem, then you do it. But I don't know how do you get a pass rusher without giving up a huge amount of capital and or money at this point? And if you're the 49ers, I don't think you're in the position to give up money or draft picks because your team is really old.
Yeah, I think they really need to work on getting younger. So I'm not sure I would do it. And because of the injuries that they have and the injuries at quarterback and the way that their team just generally looks, you can't give up on the season at 4-1. But I'm not investing more into this season. I'm kind of semi-hoping that the wheels fall off and we could just go again from the wheels fall off and we could just go again from the strongest position next season. However, a couple of trades that might be interesting for them if they can get them on a nice cut deal. The Tennessee Titans are bad, and Simmons, the D tackle, has been stuck there forever. After losing Hargrave to you guys and how good Robert Saleh looks when he has good D tackles, Simmons is surely a guy that they could go for, maybe a cut price deal, with the Titans trying to rebuild as well. That could be the guy to look at. That could be a guy to go for.
And the worst part is if I'm the Titans, I'm not letting him go because then my defense just falls apart even more. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, if you're the Titans, how much are we just committing to this rebuild entirely? So, but yeah, Jay, we've already kind of spoken about the Tampa Bay injuries as well. Like the 49ers, all the coverage is about their injuries, but Chris Godwin's out again. Mike Evans is still out and Bucky Irvin is out too. Will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers overcome these injuries to beat the 49ers? Jay, you're taking the 49ers with the points, and I think it's going to be a close game as well, but I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I think that Baker Mayfield's quarterback play has just been simply outstanding this season. Whatever.
I agree with you, and I almost went that route, but when you get that many injuries, and then I know the 49ers can play through injuries, and it's not even that I think they necessarily will win. I'm just banking on this being a game that's won by 3 points.
Yeah, I feel definitely. I don't love the half on that. The half feels like a lot.
Well, Vegas
the Green Bay Packers
overall is like 70-some% winning this year. Bettors are getting their ass kicked this year, which is wild. So Vegas is cleaning house.
Yeah, we've unfortunately gone down because the Eagles lost, and the Broncos is 7.5 point. The Broncos is 7.5 point favorites as well. And it looks like we're going to go down these first 2 games of the season, but we're close to 500. I'm at 500 at 39-39. Jay, 37-41 throughout the season, and we're close to 500 again on our best bets at 7-8. We're both at 7-8 on our best bet. So we're considering how well Vegas has been doing this year. We're doing okay, throughout the season as well. So keep track of us. Jay, a game that I am staying way clear of with any money is the Green Bay Packers against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Green Bay Packers are 14.5 point favorites. Jay, Joe Flacco was traded to the Cincinnati Bengals in a pick swap. Does Joe Flacco make a difference for the Bengals, and does the deal make sense for Cincinnati?
The deal absolutely makes sense, and I hope Joe Flacco makes a difference because I don't know. I couldn't find an answer. Even ChatGPT couldn't tell me, which was weird. But is this going to be the first time, if Joe Flacco wins this game, will this be the first time in NFL history that a quarterback in a different division has beat a team twice in the regular season?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I also think, what's crazy about this, it could be the first time in NFL history where if Joe Flacco does make a difference, and the Bengals, because they started 2-0 and not out of it. And as we said earlier, the AFC North is kind of up for grabs as well. This could be the first time that an NFL quarterback takes 3 teams from the same division to the playoffs.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Ravens, Browns, and Bengals. If he takes them, he could take all 3 from the same division to the playoffs as well. Huge play heading into the last minute of the Jets game. Justin Fields makes a difficult throw for Garrett Wilson to get, and the Denver Broncos player comes and knocks the ball out as well. But
Looks like Wilson's hurt too.
Wilson doesn't hold on. Yeah, Wilson's been killed in that play as well. And they're going for the field goal here. They're going for the field goal. This will be a long kick here. Guys, if you're watching along with us, the Jets are they going for it?
You know, that's a weird rule too, and I get it's the rule. I know it's a rule, but it's a rough rule. He catches the ball, he hits the ground, the guy's on top of him, and then rips the ball out. It's like that almost should be a catch, but I get why it's not. That's one of those hard ones.
Yeah.
Where no matter what rule you make, there's going to be people who have an argument against it. But that's hard on the receiver because you're already on the ground.
Yeah, and surprise here, Justin Fields takes a sack. Yep.
God, he sucks Justin so bad.
He's arse. He's terrible in this game.
You got to give your receivers a chance. Just throw it up. It's 4th down. Who cares if it's interception? Just launch that fucker up to whoever you think has the best chance of getting this ball.
Yeah, and he gets 0.
And right there across the middle, you hit that and it's a 1st down.
Yeah, he had it.
You hit that slant and it's oh my gosh.
He throws with Justin Fields throws with 0 anticipation.
He bumped that throw. Just let it go.
Yeah. Fields, exactly. It's that. Justin Fields, just let it go. Like, he has a mental block, clearly, in just letting the ball go. And it is victory formation for the Denver Broncos in London. God, the Broncos made that look hard, but they go to 4-2 on the season, which puts them top of the AFC West, a game ahead of the Chargers. Obviously, the Chargers have a game in hand and 2 games in front of the Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs have a game in hand coming up as well. But Jay, back to Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Green Bay Packers. Joe Flacco could make a difference here. And with the division open, sure. I do think that the issues with the Bengals do not get improved by Joe Flacco. Like, Joe Flacco would be great fun in Cincinnati if they could keep him standing upright. But they can't. The Bengals offensive line can't keep anyone standing upright. I think a better option for them, and I don't know it, obviously, we don't know what the Giants would say, but Jameis Winston. Like, fine.
You think Jameis Winston's a better choice than fucking Joe Flacco?
In this situation, I think he's.
You want the first overall pick?
One, I'm not trying to win games. I'm just trying to entertain. I think the Bengals season is over, no matter who they have back there. 2,
but you just said they're not out of it.
Anyone. No, I don't think they are out of it. But I'd rather, if I was the GM of the Bengals, I'd rather just be out of it. You know, like, we're making moves to still see that we're in it. But once they get to the playoffs, they are out of it. However, if they can steady the ship, Joe Flacco is meant to come back for the playoffs, actually. Joe Burrow, is meant to come back for the playoffs. So maybe they're not out of it. But for me, Jameis Winston throwing up to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins makes more sense than Joe Flacco, who can't avoid anything and they can't keep anyone stood up. Whereas Jameis Winston is just going to launch it in the air regardless. So at least the ball gets up.
Okay, neither guy can move. Neither guy can run.
That's true.
I don't know. I think Joe Flacco is a way better, way more decorated NFL quarterback than Jameis Winston. I don't know. I don't even want Jameis as my backup.
Maybe I just want to be entertained by Jameis Winston. Like, maybe that's it. Jameis Winston would have been the more entertaining pick. But Jay, the Packers are coming off a bye, rested, less injury problems for Micah Parsons as well. Can the Bengals offensive line actually hold up against this Packers defensive line?
I hope so, but probably not.
I think another big question to ask on the Packers defense is, how good is the Packers defense actually? Because they're 1 week removed from a tie against the Dallas Cowboys where they got 40 points hung on them. Can the secondary hang with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins long enough for the pass rush to get there as well? So, Jay, do you think that that's going to be the tale of the story, that the defense is just going to completely overrun Joe Flacco and Cincinnati?
No, and like, I think there's this weird thing that could happen is Flacco has this long delivery. I get all that, and we can argue. Joe's going to get the ball out faster than fucking Browning did. Joe's going to make better decisions, probably. I mean, we've seen Joe make some fucked up decisions, probably. But there's so much talent on that fucking Bengals receivers and tight ends, and it's their offensive line that's a problem. I just wonder, is this going to be a game where Joe Flacco comes out with a brand new group of people, but he's got T. Higgins, he's got Jamar Chase, he's got these players, and he throws the ball around, scores some points, and keeps them in this game. And that's the reason I'm taking Cincinnati, is because of the point spread, not because I think they're going to win this game. But I really hope they win this game.
For me as well, I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals at 14.5 points. I think that the quarterback play immediately becomes better. Browning was, Jesus, the Jets had minus 10 passing yards for the game. Minus 10 passing yards for the game in London. But yeah, for Joe Flacco, they immediately come in and be a bit better. And look, the Packers defense gave up 40 points against the Dallas Cowboys 2 weeks ago. That was the last time that we saw them. And they couldn't get to the passer. Micah Parsons didn't get to the passer. And we were playing our backup offensive line as well. So let's see how well they can do. Jay, I still think the Packers will win, but 14.5 points is too much for me. Jay, the Kansas City Chiefs are going up against the Detroit Lions in probably the biggest game of the week. The Kansas City Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites against the Lions. Jade, Tyrone Arnold and Avonte Maddox have been ruled out. Kobe Joseph and Brian Branch are questionable. Can the Detroit Lions secondary hang with the Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver core?
Sorry, I'm dealing with some bullshit right now. Answer that and then get back to me.
Yeah, so with the Detroit Lions, the secondary is heavily injured, with Tyrone Arnold and Avonte Maddox out. Kobe Joseph and Brian Branch are questionable as well. So they have real heavy injuries on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the secondary for the Lions. On top of that, the Chiefs have their wide receiver core of Xavier Worthy's there, Hollywood Brown's there. This is probably the fastest wide receiving core the Chiefs have ever put together. And it's probably the best wide receiver core that Patrick Mahomes has had since Tyreek Hill played for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think if there's a weakness in this game, and if there's a weakness that the Kansas City Chiefs can exploit against the Lions, it is going at that secondary. And I just wonder if the Lions can hold on enough, and can Patrick Mahomes come and really make the big plays against the Lions?
All right, sorry guys, real life got in the way there, and I had to answer that. I already said this on Thursday. I'm taking the Lions in this game. They're one of my best bets. It's a fucking lock. Put it in.
Yeah, one of your best bets.
First of all, the Lions play tough against the Chiefs some reason every time they play. The Lions have a team that is really underestimated, and I think they got a big fuck you on their shoulder because people are underestimating them, and I am not sold on the Chiefs receiving core right now. And maybe once Rashid Rice gets back, it helps. And I do think Worthy helped from where they were, but I'm still not sold on him being a number one. Is Pacheco back to running the ball angry? Kareem Hunt's been great, but he is old. I think the Chiefs have been really struggling this year, and we're watching it, and it's not just one spot where the Chiefs have been struggling. We watched them struggle on defense. We watched them struggle with receivers. We've watched them struggle with running the ball, and not all at the same time, but we've watched this all happen. Can you put it all together? I'm not convinced, and I told you on Thursday, I think the Eagles are in trouble for this season, not overall, because they have Mahomes and Reed and Spags and all that. But I think they're in trouble for this season, and I really like the Lions in this game.
Yeah, and I think with the secondary issues, that is where you can really put pressure on the Lions. But their defensive line has looked good. Adrian Hutchinson looks great as well. And the Chiefs' offensive line has been a lot better, but still can be suspected in places. And also the biggest point on this is, can the Chiefs actually just hold on to the Lions? The Lions on offense outside of the Green Bay Packers game to start the year has looked amazing. And the last time that you're right that the Lions play the Chiefs hard as well. The last time that they played against each other was the season opener 2 years ago after the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl and the Lions came out and won by a point. And that was kind of like the game that announced that the Detroit Lions underneath Dan Campbell had arrived and were ready to make a run in that season when they came out and beat the Chiefs. So they do play each other hard. And Jake, there's one key thing that you have to do if you're going to stop the Detroit Lions, and that's have pressure on Jared Goff, but you have to do it without blitzing. That's not something that the Chiefs do. The Chiefs' defensive line it can't do that. Like they have good sack totals, but they don't do it without blitzing. Spagnuolo blitzes all the time. And for me, Jay, I think the Lions are going to win. And Jay, are the Detroit Lions the best team in the NFC after we've watched the Eagles struggle?
I don't know. I still like the Rams. I like other teams. I think there's a handful of teams that if they play each other on any given Sunday, right, that could beat each other in the NFC. But they're definitely up there. Maybe that's something that we need to do one of these weeks coming up closer to like the middle of the season. Top 5 AFC, top 5 NFC type thing and break them down. Because off the top of my head, it's really hard. I'm going through teams. I like the Bucks. I don't know. Are the Bucks better when they're healthy? Maybe. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things I'd like to think about. But they're definitely in the top like 3-4 teams in the NFC. And I don't think anybody wants to play them right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really don't think anyone wants to play the Lions. Jay, I'm taking the Lions in this one. They're your best bet in this one as well. I think the Chiefs are defensively going to struggle to keep up. I think it could be a really high-scoring game. We move on to our Monday night games where we have 2 games on Monday night.
Stop the staggering fucking
games on Monday night.
Either do them one after another or stop doing it. I'm sick of trying to watch 2 games at the same fucking time.
Yeah, I don't understand the point. And the issue is, if I stay up for the Sunday game, I'm not going to be able to stay up for the Monday game as well. Like, I have a separate issue to this because what they do is they put the fucking score of the other game on the screen. So if I want to watch one and then watch the highlights of the other, I'm getting the score updates of the other one as well. And that's really annoying. So stop doing that. But just put it. I don't get it. Just have the game on a Tuesday night as well. And like, I know why you can't do that because of rest and everything, but just have them on Sunday. That's where they belong. But Jay, in those games, they're 2 good games as well. The Atlanta Falcons are going up against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 4.5-point favorites. The Buffalo Bills lost to the New England Patriots, and they allowed the New Orleans Saints to stay in the game for 3 quarters. Why are the Buffalo Bills not getting the same treatment as the Philadelphia Eagles? Because the Eagles are getting killed for only beating teams close and then losing to a team.
Because
why are the Bills not getting that treatment?
People hate the Eagles, and the Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls in recent years. And people still think the Bills are darling and cute because they haven't won anything, just like people thought about the Lions until the Lions got good, and then they started hating the Lions. So, and people just love Josh Allen. They get a pass because of Josh Allen.
Yeah, they love Josh Allen. Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, the Eagles are a hated franchise in the NFL. I would say more people dislike the Eagles than like the Eagles in the same way that everybody hates the Cowboys, unless you're a Cowboys fan as well. So, yeah, I think they're getting a pass because of that. But I think it's important to shine the light on the fact that the Buffalo Bills have also not been good. And, Jay, they've been really poor on the ground. The Buffalo Bills allow the 2nd most yards per carry in the league at 5.6 yards per carry, which is joint with the Dolphins for second worst in the league. Is this the game where Bijan Robinson comes out and stamps his authority on the league? Because there's been talk of him as one of the best running backs in the league. It's time to show it, Bijan. Surely this is the game.
I don't think he's one of the best running backs in the league. I think he's a really good running back, and you and I have been over this. So I don't think it'll be a breakout game for him because I don't think he's that guy. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is better than him. I mean, I can keep going. Like, I think there's dudes that are better than him. I think he's really good. I just don't think he's one of the top 3, 4, 5 guys in the league.
I'm going to start. Okay. On Thursday's show, we're going to start ranking the teams. Like, we're going to start ranking the positions, and we'll start ranking the teams, and we'll add ranking things to our Thursday night shows. So Guys, come and tune in for our Thursday night pre-game shows. We go on 2 hours before the Thursday night kickoff. So come and join us for that. I think that Bijan is a top 5 running back in the NFL, but that's just off the top of my head. I don't think I can go and name like my actual top 5 and do a lot of thought. So I think that this is a game where he goes and stamps his authority on the league. And Jay, the secondary of the Buffalo Bills is an issue as well. They're slow at the secondary. Can this be a game where like Mooney kicks off and Drake London is the big body back and Kyle Pitts is probably having his best season in the NFL? Do you think that the Atlanta Falcons can really put it on the Buffalo Bills on the offensive side of the ball here? Or is there zero trust in Michael Penix?
I was just going to say, if it wasn't Michael Penix, yeah, I think that's a possibility, but I'm not trying to shit on him because he's still young in the league, but like I haven't seen anything that makes me think that they're going to go in and beat the Bills.
Last week they played really good football, and I think Michael Penix has the opportunity to be really quite up and down. I think that Kirk Cousins gives them a better ability to win than Michael Penix does. And Michael Penix isn't that young in the league. Like, I understand he's young in the amount of years that he's played football, but he's not actually that young as a quarterback. Like,
well, I said young in the league, that's why.
Everybody else. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's not that young. He's young in terms of like weeks he's played, so he's quite up and down. Jay, the Buffalo Bills are 4.5-point favorites. If you're giving me the points in this game when the Bills have looked as bad as they've been,
it has nothing to do with the Bills. Be real.
Give me the Falcons.
It's your love for Atlanta. Like, you won't admit that you love these teams. You've been arguing with me for about Drake London for 3 or 4 years now.
We did a whole show where I titled the show like Penix's downfall or something like that. Like why Penix is getting away with being terrible, basically, is what we've spoken about for like.
So now why Atlanta's bad ever, it's why everybody else. Remember, it's Desmond Ritter's fault. It's fucking Marcus Mariota's fault. Now it's Michael Penix's fault. Like, it's everybody but the team. How about they got bad coaching? How about Drake London's just okay? I mean, Bijan Robinson's overrated.
I called Arthur Smith out plenty.
No, I mean their head coach right now, Raheem Morris, is awful. I would rather have Arthur Smith.
Yeah, that's a fair point as well. I think that personally,
I get caught up too. I get caught up in teams too. Like the Steelers got me for 2 years straight. I was that guy. The Cardinals had me this year. Maddie, you just got to learn how to bail sometimes. That's all. You just got to learn to bail.
I think they're a terrible matchup for the Bills. The Bills cannot defend the run. The Bills are shocking against the run.
We'll find out because I'm taking the Bills.
Good. The Bills have looked shocking against the run. The Falcons run the ball as much as any other team in the league. And
coming off a loss to New England, so we'll see. Coming off a loss to New England, Monday Night Football, Bills Mafia just hyped the fuck up for this game. Like, I don't even know.
It's in Atlanta.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's Bills Mafia, bro. They get everybody excited. I just said I know it. I was just going to say I know it's not at home, but Bills Mafia. How you not get excited about Bills Mafia? But no, all I'm saying is coming off Monday Night Football or playing Monday Night Football, coming off a loss to a divisional team that you probably thought you were going to beat, I think Atlanta might be in trouble. Hey, Bills, throw the ball to James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook only getting 6 yards in the game against New England was crazy. Like, I feel like they'll get back behind some run game there, so we'll see who's able.
Well, one of us is going to be wrong, so that'll be fun.
I'm excited by that game. Jay, we've got 10 minutes until kickoff of Week 6 Sunday games. So we've got one game to go, and then our fantasy players to watch. Jay, the Washington Commanders are 4.5-point favorites against the Chicago Bears. The Commanders secondary looks like a big hole in a promising Commanders roster. Can Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson can they take advantage of the hole in the secondary for Washington?
I doubt it. I don't have any faith. I've been saying this though, and I feel like I say the same shit every week. I don't trust that Caleb Williams is an NFL quarterback, and I said that even coming out of the draft. You don't think that he matches with Ben Johnson. I'm not sure Ben Johnson. Like, it's weird. He comes across as this oh shucks guy, and then you see any locker room video and he's screaming like a psycho. I'm not sure how that goes over. I'm not quite sure if that's the fit or not. And Chicago's a weird place. Like, the owners always got their hands in shit. You can't swear if you work or play for the Bears. Like, I would be out of there right away because I'd be like, fuck you, So I'm not sure. Like, it's just a weird setup. And maybe I'm just a hater because I don't want the Bears to ever be good. But, like, I'm not sold. And I am sold on Jaden Daniels. I am sold that the Washington Commanders are a better team. So just give me the Commanders in the 4.5 because, again, I just don't know what I think of Ben Johnson as a head coach, and I don't trust Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and the one team to slow down the Detroit Lions offense with Ben Johnson last year was the Washington Commanders in the playoff game as well. So Dan Quinn against Ben Johnson. Dan Quinn brings pressure and manages to get pressure in strange ways. And I think that is the key to breaking the Ben Johnson system. So I think that the Bears are going to struggle in this game as well. And especially with Jaden Daniels, who I believe is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Can he carry the Commanders to a win with Terry McLaurin seemingly coming back for this game? He's amazing, and we seem to have moved off remembering that Jaden Daniels is fantastic because he's been injured. So I'm taking the Commanders as well. Me and Jay are both taking the Commanders. Jay, let's move on now to our fantasy plays to watch before everybody has to get their fantasy teams in. Who have you got as a fantasy player to watch?
Drake May, put him in, play New Orleans Saints. He should get you about 20 points if I'm guessing. I would go Drake May. Also another guy that you can never go wrong with because of Bucky Irvin's injury. Go with running back Rashawn White from Tampa Bay, but Drake May is my pick.
Yeah, for me, I've seen a few people questioning whether Josh Jacobs is a viable fantasy player. For me, put Josh Jacobs in for this game. I could really see the Packers kind of trying to slow down this game. Another reason why the 14.5 points seems like a lot to me. Run the ball against the Bengals, and I think Josh Jacobs is going to go off big in this game. So, guys, that's the show. And just to round off who we've taken in those games so you can get your bets in before kickoff. Jags versus Seahawks. Seahawks 1.5. I've gone for the Seahawks. Jay's gone for the Jags. Dolphins versus Chargers. Chargers 4.5. We've both gone for the Chargers in that game. Ravens versus Rams. Rams at 7. We've both gone for the Rams in that one. Colts versus Cardinals. Colts 9.5. We've both gone for the Colts on that one, slightly reserved. The Panthers versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys are 3-point favorites. I've gone for the Cowboys. Jay's gone for the Panthers in that one. Saints versus Patriots. Patriots are 3.5-point favorites. We have both gone for the Patriots in that one. Steelers versus Browns. Steelers at 4.5. We've both gone for the Steelers. Raiders versus Titans. Raiders at 4.5. We've both gone for the Raiders. Bucks versus 49ers. Bucks of 3.5. I've gone for the Bucks. Jay's gone for the 49ers. Packers versus Bengals. Packers at 14.5. We've both gone for the Bengals in that one, but stay clear, I would say. Chiefs versus Lions. Chiefs at 2.5. We've both gone for the Lions in that one. Falcons versus Bills. Bills at 4.5. I've gone for the Falcons. Jay's gone for the Bills. Commanders versus Bears. Commanders at 4.5. We've both gone for the Commanders. My best bets are the Chargers at 4.5, the Steelers at 5.5, and the Commanders at 4.5. Jay's best bets, the Patriots at 3.5, the Jags at +1.5, and the Lions at +2.5. Thank you, everybody, for watching our Sunday show. Jay, send us off like you always do.
All right, quick. I'm doing this on the show. I'm making a quick update because we haven't logged out yet. Change that to the Cowboys for me. I can't do it. Change that to the Cowboys for me.
Okay.
I've been thinking about it all show. I've been really questioning myself. Change that to the Cowboys for me. I want that live locked in on the show. All right. And thank you, everybody, for watching. It's close to kickoff. We got 7 shows. Hit the like and subscribe. Hit the notification so you don't miss anything. We appreciate you guys' support. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.